All right, what is up, Bulldogs? Today we are going to be talking about how to make friends with someone you have nothing in common with. At least I think that's what we're going to be talking about. And this question comes from Andrew Hickman. There must be some kind of relation, or maybe he just wanted to talk. Let's just talk about this stuff. All right. So he says, John, this is absolutely not a relationship question. So many times I hear that. Sometimes it is a relationship question, but okay. We'll give the benefit of the doubt. There is someone I admire and would like to be close friends with, but at the moment I am not aware of any shared interests that I could use to progress from acquaintance to actual friend. Have you ever made a friend with someone who doesn't apparently share similar interests? So, okay, so there's a couple things here. I agree, this is probably or possibly not a relationship question. It doesn't have to be, because, hey, you can be close with someone who you want to have a relationship with without having much in common, because you can just have chemistry, and that's enough, at least for passion. Passion is good. But what if it's a bro? What if it's bromance? What if it's a dude that you want to, right? And so, I mean, most of the time when someone's asking me this question, I've gotten asked this question before, of course, is what it is like someone you admire and would like to be a close friend with. So most of the time what this is someone who you basically want almost like as a mentor, or someone, again, that you admire, that is maybe at a higher level at you than in something, and they could teach you something, they'd be a good, it could be just a political move. Like if you're friends with this person and they're famous, then you're going to be like in that circle. You want to be, hanging out with maybe, what's his name? Maybe you want to hang out with Ty Lopez, right? Maybe that's what you want to do. Right? You don't really have a lot in common, but hey, I want Ty Lopez to be my friend. So how do I do this, right? You've got someone like this, you want to be Ty Lopez's buddy, right? But you don't have any kind of shared interest. So how do you go from acquaintance to actual friend? The first thing I would say is this. You have to ask yourself the question of why do you want to be friends with someone who you don't have much in common with? So maybe you're not going to be like really good friends, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense. You're not gonna be friends. But maybe you could be tight with them. Maybe maybe you could figure something out there. So, but with that said, again, you're gonna find something in common. You're a human being living on this planet, dealing with the same shit that every human being does, right? The reason why a lot of you subscribe to this YouTube channel is because you're just like me. We're the fucking same, okay? I might have a little bit bigger biceps than you, but besides that, we think the same way. Right? We have the same emotions. We go through the same struggles in life, right? We all face that. Now, I have adapted a different system for dealing with them than most people, and I've had success in areas where a lot of people haven't had success. That's true. I'm not trying to brag or anything about this, but what I'm saying is that you can relate to my struggle. We can all relate to the struggle together. This is the key. One of the best things to do to unite people, and you'll see this, okay? Have you ever had a friend that's a Marine? What do Marines talk about, whether they're in service or not? The Marines. Everybody, what happens when two Marines meet each other? Right? Is it like, do you get a little bit tired of this shit, right? You got that Marine buddy, okay? Or he used to be a Marine. Nothing wrong with Marines. I love the Marines. They're awesome, okay? But they love each other, okay? They love the fucking Marine Corps and what it stands for, and they will tell you about it all day long, and if they meet another Marine, forget about it, okay? Why? Because of the shit they had to go through together. Shared experience, okay? Fraternities, same thing. I don't know if you ever pledged a fraternity. I pledged a fraternity. I'm a Kappa Sigma, and I went through J-Week. J-Week was fucking miserable, but I made some great friends. If you even just any kind of armed forces, what's the first thing they do? They send you to boot camp. They strip you down. They make you depend on each other. You go through hell together, and that builds tight bonds. So one of the best ways to develop a bond with someone, especially someone, and again, a lot of times, boot camp is a great example, because a lot of times in boot camp, right, do these people have anything in common? No, they don't have much in common, okay? But they get that shared experience in common, right? If you run a fucking Spartan race, if you do something like that, right? So figure out, can you go and do a challenge with someone like this? Can you do some kind of group event? Can you do some kind of activity that will will cause you a lot of pain that you'll have to suffer together. If you can do that, that's going to create a bond that's going to be super, super strong. Sometimes the strongest bond that you can possibly create in life, right? More than a spousal bond, more than a brother or sister, a mother and father, is that brother you served with, right? That you went through hell with, you fought in the war with. Think about that. So create the war. Okay, that's the first thing I would say. And the second thing I would say is figure out the commonality. There is some kind of commonality. There's something that you have, and figure out the value. If you're talking about someone that have a higher status than you, what is the value that you bring, and can you genuinely bring that value to them, right, without bartering? And it's going to take some time, right? Maybe you are commenting, and there's a lot of people actually that have established relationships with me, okay, and some of them are closer and some are not, but a lot of people have moved from acquaintance to who I would call a friend, or some who I'd call a really good friend, from just being persistent. Like, they're watching all my YouTube videos, okay? They're commenting on the YouTube videos, making thoughtful comments, okay? Sometimes they're sending me emails. Again, I don't want to get a bunch of spam from you guys, like trying to do this technique, but they're being thoughtful about it. They're sending me valuable stuff. They're doing valuable stuff for me. They're volunteering their time. They're offering to help me in some way, right? And they're persistent, and they're keep on doing it. And I recognize them. And paying honest compliments, giving honest, good feedback, right? Not bad feedback, good feedback. No one wants your honest, bad feedback when they're here and you're here, okay? I'll be honest with you. Like, they don't want it. So a lot of people think that this is a good way to build a relationship with someone. It's not. If you're at the same level and you're already friends, like, honest feedback is a very powerful and great thing. There's maybe some other things that you could do if you find people in common with that person, but creating a shared experience that you suffer together is number one, and then number two is being persistent in giving them some kind of value, so that makes sense, right? And I give you an example of one of my friends that became one of my friends would be from being persistent and offering me some kind of value was my good friend Manny from 2000 Books. Like, we work out together. It was unlikely, right? He heard me on Entrepreneur on Fire podcast, and he contacted me because he does book summaries. And I talked to him on Skype. He wanted to talk about some business deal. This was when I lived in Tampa. And I happened to run into him in San Diego in the supermarket, and I ran into him a second time, and he was sending me some information and some he kept in contact, but he had an idea. He was like, "Oh, I want to meet with you and talk about some ideas." And I'm like, "Look, dude, I don't really have time." Okay, so I'm like, I'm gonna go for a 10-mile run. If you want to join me, you can talk while we run. And he did. He joined, and he actually ran the 10 miles, and he's not, he hadn't run those kind of distances before, but he hung in there. And I was like, wow, okay, this guy, like, so I'm saying, like, he ended up building going from an acquaintance to a friend because we went through that shared experience together, right? And since then, we developed we found a lot of common that you wouldn't have thought we had in common to start with. There's no perfect formula for this, and you can't really force friendships all the time, but if you can find a shared experience where you suffer together, that's going to be great, right? Doing some kind of workout, doing some kind of activity, something like that, physical, that's going to help. And then like I said, just being persistent and offering value and being that kind of person that is able to respect the fact that, okay, this person is, you don't want to treat someone who you admire, who's maybe a little, like, of a higher status than you, as like just your buddy, right? You want to be like, okay, I get this about you. You don't want to be like, give them the whole star treatment at the same time, but you got to kind of have that little bit of respect there, and realize, especially respect for their time, and not put any kind of demands on them. Instead, you want to just give value, and if you give enough value, then you'll become more at their level. Not the easiest thing in the world. You might even question whether you want to do this. Like I said, do you need to be Tai Lopez's buddy? Can you make your own circle of friends? Can you make your own circle of people that are at your level? That sometimes having the A-list celebrities in your circle is not necessarily the best thing for you in life and for your success and career. Sometimes they can overshadow you, and that's not necessarily the best thing as well. So that's all I got for you guys today. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button down below. Become a fucking bulldog. Change your fucking life. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.